Hello everyone, we're back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where we're trying to help defend Soseki Natsume, actual Japanese author, be cleared from murder. Now see, Sherlock, or Herlock as we know him, is a public domain character, sort of. But Natsume is an actual person, and I think that's funny. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. Let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Alright, we're here to bribe the inspector? Yeah, here it is. That's a lot of chips. Iris has lovely handwriting. Anyway, present. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. What's too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Get that here at once. Go on, hand it over. That's for me. Ah. What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously. There's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, is what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. The leadership always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me. Every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, sir, using my name without my say-so does make it about a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? The gentleman in black, whatever he wants to know. I trust it won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector. We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. The little knife-wielding mustache Japanese fellow. This is right out oval. It's over there, look. On the first floor of that house on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle is propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garadeb. Right, well. If you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Bye for now then. And long live her ladyship. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Can we move them here? Military man, I see. May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrida? Indeed it would, sir. Who may I say is calling? My name is Yunosuke Naruhodo. I am... Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. He would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Did you see that, Mrs. Sato? That's a real-life English maid. No. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. That was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? You don't need to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure I go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. Hello, sir. Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Yunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwon, don't you know? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm in the middle for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. And over the reins to the up-and-comings. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was painting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you are very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joe? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch it! Dash it, old woman, be careful. Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So, anyway, there you have it. Living a quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace around here in Blighty. You forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. This case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know. In this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Rance magazine here, so... Eh? No. Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. It's a blowing nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's ditching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss, it's jolly unsettling. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us. Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? They moved in very recently then. I have 2 lodges most of the time. One on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There is... That's it all, Joe. Do be careful. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion. I thought it was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. He even had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. and I'm rarely wrong about anything. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. Alright, tell us. Spill the tea. Did you notice anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes. That man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots up to that old bookstop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Huh. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh. I understand that either of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us. On the first floor and street level.
Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example? Even the times they go to bed?
Good grief, Joan, be more careful, woman.
Oh my goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Suspicious. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window around that time?
The window.
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Is there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrett household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well,
yes? Was there something then?
well, something particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, there. For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing.
Oh dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naruholo.
Oh, yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of. Joan, dash it all, what is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garrett. Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what? Oh, never mind that. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Oh, certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak?
Yes, Homie, that's his name, had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholm's services?
Would it be alright if we also had a look around? This in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes. And while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Well, good day to you. We're going downstairs.
Oh, kitty.
Ugh, just look at this place. Yeah, it's musty. There's no window.
I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too.
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. Really depressing in here, even with all the books. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you?
No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garodev told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Sure, if we just take a look around. What if he's just lost back here somewhere? Okay, investigate. Okay, that's definitely a fire hazard, just leaving a candle there on top of some books. Sam and Kitty. Okay, bye-bye.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It's a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Did he even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps it's Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
Only 2 days. Where'd the kitty go?
Look, it's a beckoning cat from home.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? I think Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I don't think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you reading the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous for traveling abroad. I want a lucky charm.
Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and his cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. He doesn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Inosuke, you have no poker face. Window? Would you even call this a window?
I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. And all that remains is a frame around some bricks now.
So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? Why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that?
I'm afraid I have no idea. As it's Natsume painted the brick design on a fit of whimsy.
Ugh. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying.
Well, the fact that there are all these books here doesn't really help. Actually, that's a good question. Where does he sleep? Is this bed also hidden in this mass of books on the right side? Door books. Got the receipts. Oh, Mr. Shilland, where did you come from?
Look, Mr. Naruto!
Huh, there he is. He was definitely not there before.
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Ah, you two, good day. Now let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria.
Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died. Tragically. But you were a great hope to us. Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh.
Well, you seem to remember something of it at least.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by their great Horlock Sholmes. Is this Sir?
Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. My mind palace. Miss Naruto. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. Thanks. I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has stalled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to an extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully.
Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Alright, let's get chatting. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you insisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. For the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road? Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato. I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
Audacity. I assure you I am not really feigning ignorance. It was appear so the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of your accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. That doesn't make sense. The legal detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah. A man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here, somewhere, from the establishment in question. So you don't think of Natsume as the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived in believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Gerda. A retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much as in my Great Britain primer.
And so, conversely. Whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it's precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadev. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man who's lodged to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Natsume has stabbed no one.
Oh, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes? Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that?
Surely, not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere. They never to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. Oh, if only.
How awful and unjust. Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. From some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging. I discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Though there's a little relevance here. About enough worthy of further attention. Well, I believe I told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruto. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? Will you perhaps be offering to your services in this very matter, I wonder? The occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it?
Not sure.
Not sure. On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized. And so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Did you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there's simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear on having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Oh, and one more thing.
What does Mr. Sholmes tell us?
I cannot say with certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrett is? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, that's a big mood, Sholmes, I get it. I guess I'll leave him to it. I'm going back upstairs. Oh, you Paragon. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Oh, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... I don't think time, woman, will you watch what you're Bollywell doing?
I should be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Ah, yes, of course. Trifling rude, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave. Will you be so kind?
Oh, yes, of course. We're deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
I mean, that's fair, you can't walk.
Can we at least look around your nice room before we go?
I'm gonna start from this side.
I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrett. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book.
Oh, there's a copy of Rent magazine here, I see. I thought Mr. Garrett enjoys the adventure of Sherlock Holmes too.
The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. That's a full-size cannon. What is it doing in here?
Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing? Ah, that's little more than a toy. Sorry. I remember selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. It's all useful to have a cannon about the house.
Is it?
Really? Isn't it overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is gonna throw at you next, boy.
You think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrett?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Tries them with a barrel, you see. They drive very well in the cannon there, Joan tells me. Which rather proves my point, I feel. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it?
It's clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing. Ah, not much better than rags, really. Oh? What a ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know? Well, not one for dwelling on the past, me. Well, I'm glad you cleared it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it?
Oh, I see.
Are those mortar shells? They're enormous.
I haven't noticed. What are they doing here?
Oh, those old things. A couple of rounds I accidentally fired into the barracks during training, you know? We have a bit of a colorful regiment folklore, that incident. I mean, you deliberately hunted out the spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately, exactly. It's only scrap iron, after all. Usually just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when things might come in useful for you, do you? Useful for what exactly? Yes, well. Joan here did manage to knock one of the bally things on my foot the other day while she was dusting.
Oh no.
I hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know?
Sir, I think you're a hoarder. Not sure they have that term yet in this show.
Holmes, what are you doing here?
How did he even get past us? Mr. Sholmes?
Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when didn't you sneak in here? Good luck, shop, sir. At your service.
Whatever were you doing over by the window?
I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. It's sadly cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is. It lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well. One other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind.
You mean, Mr. Jones?
There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let's conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Garada. Well, it would seem you're a military man of considerably distinguished service. Your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one may call first rate. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you're concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Eh? And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you.
Mr. Naruhodo, look!
Oh, how could you possibly? How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in an intense juggling of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Here we go. It certainly didn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on a rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. The furtive glance of cigarette leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, so an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you try to keep in this very house. What? Yet living in such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence.
Well,
Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam?
me?
I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to see the fun glance in your direction.
It is.
your dress pocket, because there's a handsome clue next to the beast's current whereabouts. What we're shooting from is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you saw the disposal of this terrifying lion, Mr. Gerda. At Batty's Circus. A traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I observed the tent. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. That doesn't sound right. A simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Now, Mr. Gyarados. It's hitting clear that you still have some deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, that black clothes, the distress this loss has caused you is invariably charitable. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. And in fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man, I simply... But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. This is this pile of bills that's given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. 4 cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well... No. In a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable?
The other method which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. You're wondering I have settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Considering the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There's no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman? If they have no bread, let them eat cake. Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact.
Now what do you mean?
I'm tired of the taste of cake. The beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Working to draw frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. I don't know about that, Sholmes. Let's conclude Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring and scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gyarados. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too.
Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it? Again. Well, your deduction is just now... Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it's the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense.
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Gerda and his maid would have been hurt. Or worse.
And that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought he said that he sold the lion to the circus.
But what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. I don't believe I have ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Mr. Sato, what occurs to me with some regularity. That irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruto, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Slight massage, that's all Mr. Tomo's deductions need. You can do it.
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruto. Let us start again. From the beginning. Sherlock Holmes's logic and reasoning spectacular. Something in this direction. How convenient. Or inconvenient. He does look happy though, that's nice. Is this what he was looking at?
Take that!
The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this frame print pictures your wife, Mr. Garada. I won't lament the fact that her face is obscured. We can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly established this room, was your wife, Mr. Gerda. The early traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence.
Well,
That is his wife.
Take that!
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That blurry band gleaming on your finger gives you away. Was identical to the one shown on the hand of the Mr. Gyarados bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Gyarados' lucky bride. You are Mrs. Gyarados herself.
Oh my word!
Oh, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. I let herself go, you might say, but she was a boldly collected hope. It appears that you don't live in the most comfortable circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you're in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single mate in his employ. Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it applies no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Gyarados has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Gyarados? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Yeah, I had to be stuck as a maid, I'd be raging too. Now, Mr. Gyarados. Now moving on to the next part. Mr. Result is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Gyarados' wife a beast.
Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
Time to cancel him. But Mrs. Gyarados is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true. So perhaps that support arm seems to be propping up his head. There's some other significance then.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gyarados' plan and pain is tangible, though. What's wrong, Mr. Gyarados? Oh my, look at that bright red mark.
Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand.
Mr. Gyarados hasn't slept on the face, it seems. Hard.
Never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing?
Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I say.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel is being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madame Joan Gyarados?
Well, yes.
You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Hold up, Jesus. How'd you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the nose of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep the other side from view. Oh. Now, let's proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Metagarda to fly into a rage. That's not the bills. Which can only mean that thing responsible for gobbling up all that food. This was Sagerda's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well. She's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard they left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Okay. It's almost like reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Sagerda is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Look at the signature here. Lip marks. Maybe with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate romantic gesture. Here, I'm sorry. Isn't his name John, though?
Take that!
Yes, this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. As the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the flying the ointment here. But I don't know the Bolly woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right, that's what I've been saying!
A likely story.
Listen here, Joan, old thing, I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and a note must already have been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what I've been saying!
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John.
A likely story.
Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Now, in the final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable? But surely Mr. Scared didn't eat the carpet.
No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt. But the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper.
No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Shone's deduction that we need to fix. You don't need to follow Mrs. Garrett's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Alright, let's see what we can see.
Yes.
So about the carpet. Definitely a candle down there is not letting me select it. So I guess I'll present the candlestick.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, then you don't need to look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It appeared that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room was in flames. Yes, sir. But the most ferocious beast in the world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Only gonna be put, my dear fellow. So you see, there's but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Shoal, sir. I salute you! These desert long winter nights, you know. Then do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. By all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, we discovered some rather illicit material.
Would your wife admonish you harshly, it seems?
Don't know about admonish. Demolish might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by a fire when a candle fell on the floor? I'm afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bully thing. I was caught between the old sticks raged into raging flames. You paint a toward picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The block furniture started going up as well. You had to hide the best behind the text screen for the time being.
Oh, Over there, Mr. Gyaradev?
Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you allow me. Ah, not the books. Oh, my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books coming in tens of a dozen. Worst of it is, also my favorite, a book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride. Oh yes, your notorious love of big cats is coming through again. I assure you that how it didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
Additional deductions turned out to be correct once again.
It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fiddle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time, this terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
You're more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The old blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really?
So are we done here? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruto. What can I do for you? Well, I think we got to the bottom of Mr. Gyarados' situation now. What does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be irrelevant or not. He did say that. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into only two categories. Those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Alright? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over.
If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. Would you like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I will prepare supper for Mr. Gyarados.
Oh yes. I'm so sorry.
Thank you all very much for your time.
I guess we'll be going now. Got up on her marriage business and left.
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. You must hurry back to the prison.
Yes, I know. Let's see, okay. Oh.
What's the matter?
It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Gyarados' house. Who is this? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. What are you calling old Ben? You rum looking Denny Pinmini?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry, it just looks as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Nosuke Naruhodo, was the lawyer, you see.
Lawyer? What?
If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law.
And I'll be on my way for today. Wish you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you.
What was that all about?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
I'm not Horatio either.
Forgive the inquiry, sir, but... Are you a lodger here? In the Garada residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode.
We're definitely gonna be seeing more of this guy later. Way too outlandish.
Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy of poems in my battle of words ne'er could there be.
Sorry, battle did you say?
Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night.
I see.
I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So, fair maiden. So, good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fairly well. I didn't really understand him, but I think he returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly waiting our return.
Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Welcome to see Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
I can't believe you came back. So touched. I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume.
Oh no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese!
Well, no, let's not get carried away.
Who else is here? And? It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the pact. That is my belief, at least. Oh, it's you! The miserable, rotten spy! Sherlock Holmes!
Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? You're aggravating him.
I don't intend of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. A full room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow, In essence, it is a superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny.
You... How dare you, Hairlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Curse is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, indeed, for tomorrow's trial. I just say stuff like that, Sholmes. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed?
Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous.
I was just getting carried away, that's all.
I didn't mean anything by it.
Oh, I see.
You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow?
Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey?
Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words.
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which he, the Reaper, stands for the prosecution. Ever. 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, 13, 16.
Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Do you really need to tell him this?
What?
I am impressed, Mrs. Sato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh, no, he couldn't have, surely.
You have some wonderful notions.
That's not what this music is telling me. Sorry.
The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Of course he is.
Of course he is, then why are you trying to scare me?
It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that?
Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. As you're no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there's both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, while the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated.
Right.
Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who are able to sway the jury,
Which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
But it means that the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. However, those indicted by Lord Menzies cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
The adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? All manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. I knew it. Dead. No, done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gyarados' house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
Must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times. Most recently to that room from Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops! He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him. If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place. Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. I mean, ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I was being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm rendered a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all? Mr. Sholmes? You Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall. The Buria. Buria... Oh, that case. The one with the snake? Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect. But you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were an dangerous, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in the locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I need to recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in, what did I choose to believe in?
What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what it is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The trick is in its hand as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
Yes, he's right. He's right, welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Rest in peace, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, this time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there?
Mr. Natsume, if you like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you.
Welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. It's imperative that we prove that in court.
Welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
I will fight for your innocence till the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow.
As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. We got receipts, spilled some tea, we got down to business. Mrs. Sato?
Yes?
Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court?
Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. Well, that wraps up that investigation. Looks like we could get a start on the trial next time. Hope to see you there.